Greetings, YouTubicons. It's Ride the Wings 86 coming at you from Rising, Arkansas, my little slice of heaven. I see on one of my videos where I got this 50 model Chevrolet running, and I was driving it down the road, and Mr. Rick from Classic Truck Rescue had asked me to see the outside of this truck. So here it is, Mr. Rick. We currently got a battery charger run to the battery. It is actually a 50 model front clip and cab. It's a 5-window cab, and it's sitting on a 41 model frame. It's got a 41 model bed on it that has been stretched. I'll show y'all more on that in just a second. It's 235 6-cylinder Ever Start battery. We got it on 12 volts right now. Still got the glass sediment bowl for the carburetor. I need to rebuild it because it is very hard to start at the moment. It usually starts right up. It's got a remote oil filter. It has 2 generators on it. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a 6 volt and a 12 volt. And the other one, well, I'll put you in there so you can see it. It's down there anyway. Okay. The only thing I've done to this truck since I dug it out, when it had been sitting for 15 years, the only thing I've done to it is I've rebuilt the carburetor twice. I have put a few sets of points in it. It's rigged up to make it run. It's hot wired. It's got a 6 volt and 12 volt system on it. It starts off at 12 volts, and it's got 6 volt headlights. It's got an old Mustang reverse light. There used to be one over here where that hole is for turn signals. It's got 6 volt park lamps. And believe it or not, the headlights and the park lamps work. But as you can see, the body was modified for it to fit on this 41 frame. The fenders have been cut out to clear the front tires. All this stuff was done by the truck's original owner, who passed well, he passed about 35 years ago. That's how long we've had this truck. When my dad was a kid, he would go hang out with him, and the old man run a farm, and this is just no farm truck. It's had a really rough life, and it shows it. It's got rot everywhere. I know it says Chevrolet 3100, but it is a 3600. It's a 3/4 ton. It's got a 1-ton rear end under it. That I have been told by my dad that somehow or another you can fit duals under them back fenders. I don't see how, but he says you can do it. He said it's been done before. It's set up to run duals. You see this other fender here. It's been cut out also to clear the tires. And if you look, the front tires, or the center line of the axle, isn't exactly center of the fender. I found out the reason why the fender is all roughed up is because it rear-ended a Cadillac at one time in its life. I got some barking dogs out there if anybody wants any of them. Here's the driver's side of it. It's hard to get a good shot of it because it's right up against these woods here, so I can't back away from it. It's a 5-window cab. The floor of the bed was changed over to metal about 35 years ago. Well, the metal finally rotted out, and you can't walk on the metal because it's so soft, so we got a piece of 3/4 plywood and just threw it in the back to have something to walk on to work on the roof of the cab. This is the 41 model bed. It It needs some work done to it. As you can see where it was stretched originally, he even stretched the running boards to go with it. You see where he stretches this piece here. It's hard to tell on this side where he cut the bed up, but anyways, let's see. Maybe it was right here where it looks like it's been cut on. I guess he cut it right there at that brace. Okay. Now on this side of it, you can kind of see it. There's the where it was cut. And the side of it there, you can see right beside that this brace here, right there. It's got a spare tire here, and there's a bracket for another spare tire, and I have the other spare tire to it. But it is a 5-window cab. Cardboard windows, so I need windows for it. That's the inside of the cab here. It's the dash, steering wheel, clutch, brake. It has no brakes. There isn't even a master cylinder under it. Gas pedal, stomp starter. As you can see, there's no master cylinder under there. Okay. It is currently being used for a storage shed, more or less. It's got a gun rack in the back glass, a dome light. Needs the roof of the cab sanded down and painted before it rusts all the way through. It's a 4-speed in the floor. It's got a granny low first gear. The truck pulls really good. Here's one of the tags. It's still on it. Kind of hard to read. Anyways, it's got a handbrake in the floorboard, and you can pull up that plate right there and see where the cab has been cut up for that to come through. I'm guessing this was going off the emblems on the hood and going off the parking brake right there. That this used to be on a half-ton frame. This used to be a half-ton truck. That's his homemade tow mirrors that Mr. Tuck made when he owned the truck before he passed away. Got a vent right there that works. The vent right there works. It's stuck right now because it hasn't been open like 6 years or something. But anyway. And whenever my dad gets home from work, if I can catch him before I have to go to work, I'll try to do a cold start video on this truck and upload it later for y'all to see. Its nickname is Puddle Jumper. The reason why it's multicolor, because at one point in time I was restoring a 80 model Honda 110 3-wheeler, which I still have, and I'll do a video on it one day just as soon as it warms up, because I only get it out when it's dry because I don't like to get it muddy. Anyway, so the truck had some rust on it in a few places, so I took some sandpaper and the leftover primer and other paints that I had, and I just sanded it down where it had lots of rust and put primer on it to try to save it. That's why it is a multicolored truck. There's the roof of the cab. So it's got some pretty good rust on it. I got to finish sanding it and getting it in primer. And that little bar right there is for to keep chain wrapped around, to carry chain on the truck. It's got 17-inch split wheels, the ones that have been known to come apart and severely injure or kill people. I don't like messing with them wheels. So I don't know a lot about them, but I know they're dangerous. I don't even like to put air in these tires if I don't have to. They got tubes in them, and these tires, from what I've been told, has been on it since the 60s. And believe it or not, they're still holding air. That one's a little bit low. It's gonna need some air put in it. But when I get around to it, I'll put some air in it. It had I forget what they said. I think a tree fell against it right here. They bent all this up, and this was all bent in. I took some needle nose pliers and bent those back out the best I could. It's really, see, it's got a big old dent in the door. The cab corners are rotted out pretty good. And if you look, that's how you know that this is a different body and a different frame. They just made it together and made to work. If you look, the center line of this rear axle is not in line with the center of the rear fender. That's how you know, you can confirm it. This door over here works. It's got a tarp for a seat cover for right now. The seat's in really bad shape. It's more or less just springs now. I gotta come up with something for that. And here is the original 6-volt battery. Well, I'm not saying original, but it's a 6-volt battery. It's been in it since the mid-80s. As long as you keep it hooked up and got the truck running, you can pull the headlight switch out over there and give it a little bit of gas and make that amp meter move, and when it does, the headlights and the park lamps will come on. Still got the gas tank behind the seat. You can see the rot that it has. A rusty door latch. It needs door panels, but I mean, like I said, this truck is really not a restore candidate. This is one of those ones that just try to preserve it as long as you can. And when it finally rots away, then you just get rid of it, because I mean, it's a bunch of different trucks put together and cut up and everything else. And I think the only way you really could restore it is have a custom frame built to fit this body setup, and just grind all the welds off of it and smooth them down and paint it, make it look right, make it look original, and then set it on the custom frame and put newer modern running gear under it. Those 6-cylinder under the hood, 235, it's seen better days. At one time, the number 2 or 3 cylinder through a rod, and where it cracked the block, the old man put JB Weld on the block and sleeved the cylinder that went bad, and put the motor back together and put it back in the truck, and it's been running ever since. It has solid lifters in it. They're not hydraulic, so it makes a ticking noise while it's running, and from what I've been told, that's normal for solid lifters. Yes, you can see we've done some sandblasting on it, and just places to test it, to test our sandblaster, see how good it works. And we've reprimed it. Our goal is to, by summertime, at least have it sandblasted in that color primer there, and then go buy some John Deere green. It's $20 a gallon, and paint this truck John Deere green to at least try to preserve it, or preserve it a little bit longer. It needs new axle seals. As you can see, it's done leaked grease out around the hubcap. There's a spare tire, split wheel, and it's still got all of its hubcaps. It's got chrome door handles. That is a GMC tailgate that's on it. If you look in some of my other videos, Mr. Rick with a Classic Truck Rescue, you'll see a video of me showing the GMC tailgate before I got it running. We do have a Chevrolet tailgate, but I was told it would not fit the truck, which I mean, I don't know about, but I don't think it would, because it's got these go here on the tailgate instead of through here. So I don't know. Which this has probably been something that was modified and made by Mr. Tuck to work. I don't know that, but that's what I'm gonna guess. Anyway, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about this year model trucks, because I mean, I've had this one forever, but I haven't messed with it a lot. I've done enough to it to make it run where I can play with it, but other than that, I really haven't done a lot to it. I haven't researched anything on it, other than just trying to preserve it and keep it around a little bit longer until I can afford to build a big metal shop to keep it in, to keep it out of the weather. I did have it under a tarp, and all that was doing was holding moisture on it, making it rust even more. So I took the tarp off of it so the air can get to it. And that's when I decided to get it running instead of letting it sit out there in the woods where it was. And I got it running and pulled it up here by my dad's shop. That's his truck. It's a 2001 Toyota Tacoma. It's got 200,000 miles on it. It's still a real good truck. You can open the hood on it and the motor's still as clean as it was today he bought it. That's been a real good truck right there. It ain't a Chevy, it ain't a Ford, it ain't a Dodge, it's not a Nissan, but it is a Toyota. It's a pretty good truck. It's 4-wheel drive, and it has had mud tires on it one time, but now it's got street tires on it, because it really doesn't leave the pavement. It doesn't leave the pavement at all, because it took my dad a while to pay for that truck. Anyway, that's it. Anyways, back to the 50 mile Chevrolet. I'll see if I can get some undercarriage shots for you, Mr. Rick. There's the rear end. It looks like it's sitting on that block again, so that tire must not be holding air, but I want to say that it is because it's standing up, but I don't know. It could be flat. There's the leaf springs. I mean, that's how rusty it is underneath. How you can see the plywood in the bed. You can see where the metal's falling out of the bed right there. There's the rotted out muffler and all that stuff. You can see the drive shaft. It's an open drive shaft. It don't have a closed tube drive line in it no more. Like I said, this is just a modified truck with a bunch of different years of different parts put together. Like I said, it's a 41 model frame, and how do you identify it or make for sure that it's a 41 model frame? I have no idea. I'm just going off of what I've been told. There's the leaf spring pack on this side. So that's drum brakes. Yes, it needs brake lines rerun, and it needs some master cylinder put under it. Needs new wheels and tires put on it. What I'd like to do is get it to where it's drivable, where it can be driven down the roads and highways around here. But I know that's going to take a lot of money. The snow has finally melted here. There's no more snow, which is a good thing. It's the temperature is supposed to be in the 60s this week, which that'll be good. Time to get some sandblasting done, or more sandblasting. You can look and see pieces of the glass that broke out of the door up there. You can see the bottom of the door's rotted out. I mean, it needs all kinds of work. It'd take a lot of new body panels to make this truck even worth restoring. There's the cab corner that's rotted out. Anyway, there's the transmission. It's got the parking brake set up on it, or emergency brake, whatever you want to call it. There's the drive shaft bearing, U-joints. I'm sure it needs to be greased. It ain't been greased since I've gotten the truck running. There's the exhaust completely rotted off or rotted away from it. Believe it or not, it's not very loud. There's the leaf springs on the front end. It's got a straight axle front end. Somewhere along here, it's the hole for the master cylinder. I forget where. Right there's the brake line though. Damn, that thing's magnified or something. Anyway, right here's the brake line where it used to be hooked on the master cylinder and everything else. Actually, it don't even feel like a steel line no more. It feels really soft. There's the hole for the master cylinder cap. I still have the plug somewhere it goes in that hole. I just ain't real sure where it's at right now. Look at this rigged up wiring. Looped around that cross member, or the running board support, I mean. Here's the inner fender. There's the bottom of the motor. The oil pan, it's all beat up. Rusty and nasty, cruddy. But believe it or not, despite how the truck looks, it will run and drive. It's got, like I said, the frame is rusty on it. I mean, it's not just terribly bad. But I believe that the frame is broke up front. Let me get stood up here. That's the reason for that piece of plywood right there. Because it right there, I believe, let me find it on the camera. So I believe right there is where it's broke. And I believe that's part of the frame. So I believe the frame has rotted in two right there. Anyways, it's probably gonna need a frame. It needs a bunch of work. I mean, it could be a restore candidate for a person that knows a lot about metal work and about building custom frames and stuff to fit this modified body and everything. But anyways, I'm not that guy. I don't know nothing about it, so more than likely I'll just try to keep it preserved, and when I get a shop built, keep it out of the weather. But anyway, I don't know what's going on with my phone here. But anyway, I'm sorry if the video is messed up or if it's turned sideways or whatever. on YouTube when I upload it. I'm making videos now with an iPhone. I was using an Android, and I knew what the Android would do and how to use it to keep it from turning the video sideways on the screen and making it look bad. But I'm not real sure about this iPhone. But anyways, that's it for today on that old truck. And when I get time, I'll do a cold start on it. And when I have some help, because you gotta have somebody to hook up the hot wire and everything, and to hand choke it, because the choke cable is stuck and won't work, so you gotta hand choke it right now to make it start. And anyways, it's a lot easier to do with help, and like I said, I'm holding a cell phone, so y'all wouldn't be able to see none of it, so I'll just have to wait till I have help. Anyways, this Ride the Wings 86 coming at you. I'm signing off for the day. I have to work today, or tonight I should say, in Little Rock at the federal building. We're doing a fire alarm system there. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for today. And Mr. Rick with Classic Truck Rescue, thank you for watching my video, sir. I appreciate that. Mr. Cutworm 59, Full Throttle 440. Let's see. Texas Viking. And there's some others I'm sure I'm forgetting. I need to do like Mr. Cutworm does and write down who all my prescribers are. That way I can give y'all a shout out on my videos. Our pond has got ice in it. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's got ice in it, believe it or not. Oh, it's hard to see it. I don't know if the phone ain't focusing on it, but anyways, there's a light skim of ice on that pond. It is above freezing for once. There's a lot of fish in that pond. It's mainly bass, but there is some catfish in there. But anyway, there's our old barn and new barn. That old barn was here when we moved here. There's an old shop that was there that was about to fall in on itself, and that one got torn down and replaced with that metal shop. And that old barn right there, the old one, you can see the small one, it's in bad shape, and so that's why we built that bigger one, and we just haven't got around to tearing that small one down yet. And after we tear it down, we're going to extend that big barn, the new barn, on out this way as far as the old barn goes. Anyways, it's Ride the Wings 86 signing off. Please comment, subscribe, and whatever else you do on YouTube. Thank you for watching.